Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is going to be another Heart of the Swarm replay brought to you by SGCWE. My link's on the left-hand side of your screen. But without further ado, let's hop right into the game, and it's our players. In the bottom left of Cloud Kingdom, a very popular map at the moment. It is our Red Zerg player, LiquidTLO, the owner of said replay pack. This is going to be a ZVZ, also featuring Milleniums Goswser. A lot of people get confused by his name. This W in here is actually representative of two U's, so it's Goswser, not Goswser, or I've heard a whole bunch of different ways that it has been pronounced, and as we can see, when he made this account, he was technically on Team Complexity. That is no longer the case. Still a very, very high-level Zerg player. So what are we going to expect to see? More than likely, the ZVZ matchup, pretty much in HOTS, is who can build more mutas quicker. Sort of uninteresting, to be honest, at the moment. I think it's just because everyone's pretty non-excited about the effectiveness of swarm hosts in ZVZ. The Hydras are not as effective versus mutas as mutas are, and with the infestor nerfs from Wings of Liberty, people just want to be able to really use mutas again in ZVZ, so it has been just a huge resurgence of the Mutalisk with their new health regeneration. It's been crazy. Does look like we're going to see hatch first from both players. This is more than likely going to be followed up by your standard pool, and then one gas, move into some queens, and then they kind of decide their tech from there. Do they rush into a Baneling Nest and do a very aggressive play? Or do they rush into lair, grab some more gases, and then decide their tech? As it could be Spire, could be Roach Hydra, it could be Hydra Swarm Host, or it could be Roach Infestor. So there's a lot of different options, but as I stated before, there's not a terrible amount of them that are being chosen at the moment. It is pretty much ZVZ equals muta versus muta, but I think that once people get a handle on the new Infestor, if you can land a couple good fungals in muta versus muta, even if you only have, we'll say, 4 infestors, if you can land enough fungals to trap those down and do AoE damage, you can trade so effectively that your opponent gets so far behind so quickly that it just snowballs in your favor, and you can pretty much take the game from there. You can switch to whatever tech you choose, and you are going to be ahead, assuming that you have not taken a terrible amount of economic damage or anything of that nature. We did see a buff recently with the Spore Crawler. It now does +5 versus biological, which literally only affects the mutas. It also affects any sort of flying broodlords or corruptors, but those pretty much don't come into play. They're not like flying over the base and hanging out. You'll typically just see mutas with that scenario. I've also seen a couple interesting times where players will be pretty even on the muta count. Instead of making more mutas, they will actually, for tanking, make some corruptors. You can also cast corruption on the mutas of the opponent, and this allows you to do, obviously, 25% more DPS, and really kind of get an upper hand as they're armored, they don't take as much damage, and especially if you're doing muta versus muta, you should be getting Carapace first. So, interesting thing to note, TLO does not have Metabolic Boost yet, and is not getting it. Metabolic Boost is about to finish up. In fact, he is going for an Evo Chamber, so he might be going for a Carapace build, where basically he's going for +1 range attacks, okay? He's just saying, screw it, I don't need roaches, and he is going to have a hell of a time holding off these 18 lings coming out from Goswser, but in fact, he does the very standard Evo Chamber wall. This is such a TLO type of thing to do. Loves doing this type of stuff, and now he can even block with the queens once this Evo Chamber goes down. Yes, now he has a Spine Crawler. He has not enough energy for Transfuse, but can actually just cancel this Evo chain? No, okay, it does not. So now going to pretty much have a full wall here, as well as queen block on the ramp, holds that aggression. Easy peasy, and is in fact more than likely going to be going for a Roach Warren, or maybe just strictly Hydras. Layer on the way for both players. +1 Carapace as well coming down for TLO. So still really no sign from either player as to what tech path they're choosing. Goswser does have an Evo Chamber finished up and does go for the range upgrades, so it does look like he is going to opt into some sort of Hydra tech. We shall see. Roaches go down for LiquidTLO, and Infestation Pit. This might be to just hold off any sort of aggression, especially with mutas, as I said before. If you can get a couple key fungals, really, really nice. Looking to see a Hydra Den more than likely go down once, well, this layer already did pop up. +2 is on the way, so he's going to have a substantial upgrade ahead of Goswser. But instead we see an Infestation Pit as well go down. Speed is on the way as well as +2, +1 Carapace about to finish up. So if this is just going to be Roach on Roach, Infestor on Infestor, and in fact, no, Goswser is going to be using the Swarm Hosts. Very interesting. You don't typically see this actually ever in ZVZ, so I'm going to be interested if he knows some way to make this work a little bit better that no one else has yet recognized. Could be very, very cool though. Hopefully we get to see some new utility added to the Swarm Hosts. They're not very good defensively, I will say that, just because once the wave is gone, then you kind of run out of, well, reinforcements. If they have an Overseer, they can just start picking away at these, and the Spine Crawler and the Queens in your defense just really plummets really, really fast. He now does know that the Swarm Hosts are out, as well as Enduring Locust coming out for Goswser. Pathogen Glands instead being researched by TLO, so it does look like a Roach Infestor build is going to be what he opts for. Pneumatized Carapace coming down. Overlord Speed, for those that do not know. Look at this macro bar. Crazy from TLO. Roaches, Infestors coming out. He's going to need a couple more Swarm Hosts than this to really hold back any sort of pressure, as you can put on quite a lot with the amount of Roaches that TLO has. There's no third yet being taken. It does look like he's going to use some of these Swarm Hosts to just play defensively, hold his position, make sure that no shenanigans are happening. 4 Roaches do look like they're setting up to attack up there. So TLO's about to have 2-2. Goswser, on the other hand, is about to have 1-1. That means his army is, well, twice as strong. His armor upgrades will in fact negate the attack upgrades for Goswser, and his attack upgrades are actually still 150% better than the defense upgrades, or, well, I guess it would only be 50% better than the defense upgrades of Goswser. More than likely going to have to sack this base. Banelings, in fact, going to be used to try and kill off all of those. Very nice fungal coming down from TLO, and if he can get a pretty good arc here, yes, we do see pretty good one coming out so far. Now with the second batch of Locusts popping, but they get killed so quickly by Banelings. Is he going to lose this Infestor? Please don't lose the Infestor. Roach is just pushing up in here, and this is what I meant by the lack of defense that these Swarm Hosts provide. They're not very strong. Once the locusts are gone, they're gone, and now he only has one left. He isn't. That is so much money invested that he has lost. Now we see a huge amount of roaches out. Take a look at the unit counting tab. 21 or 22 to 21. A little bit in favor of TLO, but again, he has 2-2 upgrades, guys, versus the almost 2-0 now. Yes. So he's equal on attack and has a +2 carapace advantage. That is huge. Goswser does decide to keep on building swarm hosts. Not very fond of this, but take a look at the income tab. Fairly even for the most part. Harvesters and everything. Does look like he lost a misrallied infestor. Very unfortunate. These 2 roaches more than likely will die as well. Yes. Easy. Now, the swarm hosts going out on the offensive. This is where they get strong, because you can just constantly batter down your opponent's front lines. It really makes it hard to attack into once they're set up. Even with an Overseer for spotting, very difficult to engage. TLO trying to go out there to engage, but no, in fact, cannot. It does look like he is going to set up a flank at this third, and now we can see the supply for Goswser is substantially ahead. TLO investing a little bit more in drones, but the army is so big for Goswser that I'm not sure he's going to... He's going to really have to hold on for quite a moment to get up a substantial amount of roaches, and it does look like he's going to go for a huge flank here. Really try to start picking off and whittling down this force. We can see he just does not have the numbers just yet, but with these infestors joining the party, if they can land a couple of good fungals. Great fungal coming out of TLO. Another very, very, very good fungal, and this means that Goswser's army is going to start falling extremely quickly. But in fact, the supply for TLO is still dwindling. So Infested Terrans coming down finally, and now he finally pulls ahead. But he did lose quite a handful of roaches there. Goswser with a huge reinforcement incoming. He was up to 21. He does need to still take care of these swarm hosts, though. It does look like he's going to attempt to do that now. Yes, he shall. Overseer is there and is now going to be able to target fire all of these down. He only has 4 left at the moment, but Goswser is just producing so many roaches. It's sick. Look at the difference in supply. He's up 40 already, and even with better upgrades, TLO just does not have the army that he needs. Goswser really showing that swarm hosts can supplement your army enough to allow you to get up a decent amount of roaches, as you technically have these free units. And LiquidTLO forced to call the GG. Milleniums Goswser coming out on top there in a very back and forth game of ZVZ on Daybreak. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please feel free to leave some constructive criticism. Would love to hear some feedback, as I am a fairly new caster. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for some more